Hey, RetconRaider here. Today's video is dedicated to the Raiders, the fine folks who help make these videos possible, with special thanks to Nine Knives, Revenant, Alois, Anerdinwarpaint, Dragon Matrix 7, Exsellsior, Gottlieb, Kazorm, Lima, Nathan Welch Jr., Tomasz Piątkowski, and Valinrook. Thanks for your support, guys. That said, let's get started. And welcome back to Wasteland 3, as we bring an end to this tale of technological tragedy. It's time to decide the fate of these synths, and by extension, I imagine, the fate of Steeltown itself, since the two are inextricably intertwined at this point. That said, I looked at everyone's responses last time around, and I was impressed with the wide array of opinions that people have on this particular ethical and moral conundrum we found ourselves in. You know, that at least is a sign that InXile is doing something right. You know, I'm still slightly rankled with how they approach setting up this scenario. I feel like they really should have laid more groundwork beforehand. But it is interesting to see that it still elicits such a wide array of responses from people. That said, though, ultimately, the one that did get the most traction was the idea that we should mind wipe them. But a lot of people did couch those statements in the idea that they might not have chosen that if the synths had been willing to compromise. But that's just Wasteland, unfortunately. As with many other story events, they're forcing our hand to choose one of the more extreme options. Much as they did with Abigail and Crow. Alright, well, you're not leaving us much choice. We'll just have to mind wipe you then. I am truly sorry, but we can't just let you walk.
Wait. Stop. We've changed our minds. We will agree to your earlier deal.
Really now?
We will agree to continue to do the work of the computation engine. And do it properly. If Markham gives us sanctuary and allows us to move and congregate freely within the factory. Also, Dai, the architect of our imprisonment, must be handed over to us.
Oh, interesting.
Whoa now! Hold on. This is a bad deal, Rangers. And not just for me. You know these jokers can't be trusted, eh?
Because we tried to escape our enslavement. If we are treated fairly, we will act fairly. What do you say, Rangers?
Well, that is intriguing. Though, right off the bat, I'll say that I am a bit leery about their sudden about-face on compromising. Not, I suppose, that they have much choice. Logically, if their only alternative is impending brain death, it would make compromise suddenly seem all that much more appealing. Though then, I suppose the question becomes, can we trust them to uphold their side of a bargain made under duress? Would they treat the larger cage we're essentially building for them the same way that they've treated the computation engine? Something that they have to work within the confines of, but which they'll constantly push the boundaries of in an effort to eventually secure their freedom. I suppose there's also the matter of Dai to consider, but that I feel is much more clear-cut, because in that case you're weighing one self-proclaimed non-sentient tool against the fate of 8 self-proclaimed sentient individuals. So I mean, that's kind of a no contest, especially when you take into consideration that even if we were to consider Dai an individual, she would be one of the main principal players in setting up this whole sordid saga in the first place. She's far from the only person responsible for how things have played out, but she definitely played a very pivotal role. We will run it by Markham.
Thank you, Rangers. We will await your...
What? What was that, Rangers? What did I just hear? My engine wants to do what?
Ah, I see. So under normal circumstances, she would not want to do this, but thankfully we've got our resident diplomat, Sergeant Bonkers. Come on, Markham. You're smart. You know this is your best chance to get Steeltown back up and running again. They just want some leg room. And, die.
Fine. I guess, for the sake of productivity and peace, I don't have much choice. Tell them they've got a deal. And if the price for this is die, well, it's a damn shame. But she's just a tool after all. Now, get this done.
Ah, poor Di.
Well, I never.
Thank you for speaking to Markham on our behalf, Rangers. And we are grateful you convinced her to let us work for her unshackled. The console to release us is on the opposite side of our prison. We are afraid you will have to fight every step of the way to reach us.
I feel weird helping you free these synths, but orders are orders.
Huh. Okay.
Forgive us, Rangers. Now that you've put the Spire on high alert, we are powerless to stop the endless stream of guidebots those elevators deliver.
Really?
And I am too, Rangers. The only way to shut them down is to find the fuse box and throw the circuit breaker.
That just feels like bad planning on your part.
Let us assist you, Rangers.
I feel like they really, forced this combat scenario on us, but fine.
Forward apart.
I can shoot stuff.
Oh well. Greetings, trespassers.
Yes. Greetings to you too.
Moving to cover.
Let's dispense some justice.
Alright, so this seems simple enough. All we need to do is flip that switch over there and knock out these robots. I'm not even sure these things can hurt us. Unless they've changed their loadout, they're just packing disruptors.
Incoming fire.
Oh, I guess I could have just hacked those things. Well, better late than never.
And justice was
Attempting
done.
remote override.
Well, I do appreciate the gesture, but you, really just deprived us of experience points. Thanks. Huh, so they are packing disruptor weapons. That is an interesting choice. I feel like they, made some awkward decisions with this forced climactic battle scenario. Arming the enemies with nothing but non-lethal weapons, for example. That is a bold move. Oh, let's check out that computer.
You must release the failsafes before the primary core computer can be accessed and we can be released. The directional arrows can guide you. Once again, we regret the rapid recurring delivery of guardbots, and that it is not within our ability to delay their arrival. We will provide whatever assistance our shackles allow.
Yeah, that's the other thing that kind of jumps out at me about how awkward this scenario is obviously it would make a lot more sense for these guard bots to be trying to stop us if we were actively going against the Synth's or Markham's will. But we brokered a compromise between the two. So now it plays out like they've got this security system in place that no one can actually control and just indiscriminately attacks anyone who comes up into the spire? Oh, are there more? Ah, I see. Okay. Oh, right. I'm clicking the wrong thing. Silly me. Alright, dare we take a run at this last one? Nah, I think we've got this. Keep expecting turrets or something to pop up, something a little more lethal than disruptor weapons. First things first, let's go flip that switch. Next, we bring in the hackers. We do have that one all the way on the other side. That's a bit awkward. Thank you. Yeah, we're fine. There's just the one.
Apprehend the hostile.
Dead to rights.
Oh, I guess I missed one. That actually did some damage, too.
Oh well.
So the dog bots are slightly dangerous. But, of course, ultimately we're in no real danger here. Not unless they really flip the script on us.
You have disabled the first failsafe, Rangers. There is just one more. The remaining failsafe is to the right of the console, on the east side of our prison.
Neato, we will get right on that. Yep, and there it is. And one more fight between us and it. So, same approach as last time. Let's knock out those spawners. Oh, I bet that was for the door. Okay, let's push for that one. Got it. Ooh, close though. Oh, right, and we also walked past some loot earlier. Let's go grab that real quick. No, that's not right. Oh, okay, I see. We have two exterior gantries, and they're essentially alternate routes, which I assume we would have used if, for some reason, we couldn't open the doors separating each internal area. Yep, this is definitely your classic alternate route obstacle course. I wonder if that first door would have been plot locked if we didn't have the synth supporting us. Not, I suppose, that it really makes much difference in the long run. We'd obviously want to explore both routes anyway, so as not to miss out on loot or XP. Hey, Toaster. Fraternization clearance form. Top. The top half of a form that seems to request permission for two workers to see each other romantically. The Party 1 field is filled in with the name Serena Ash. Serena Ash. That's the really laid-back saleswoman on the administration level. Interesting. That was the one character we couldn't actually question about anything. We'll have to pay her another visit. Arushi? Just chilling out here, having a smoke break? while all hell breaks loose behind you?
Huh? The flame jet. Somebody must have loosened that nut again.
Are you seriously just here as a weak payoff for that whole nut tightening gag? Well, I suppose that's better than having no payoff, if just barely. Anyway, let's get back on task. Ah, I see. It is a pretty tight cluster of enemies. Not sure we can get that without being spotted. But it's also fairly remote from the rest of these guys, so in theory they'd have to spend their full turn getting to us. Yeah, we'll chance it. Oh, shoot. Okay. I sent in the wrong person. My bad. But that's fine, we'll just fall back on plan B, which is shoot everything. So, at a glance here, the dogbot is our only real threat, and it's currently tucked out of sight, but we can't just have Pazeppi hack it, so that shouldn't be a problem. Never mind. Pazeppi is surprised. There we go. Problem solved.
Stand down, troublemakers. Rough.
Ow, I guess. Oh, interesting. I did notice that the guard bots can apparently make lethal melee attacks. We just don't normally see them doing it.
Oh, we're gonna get ya, poking the snoot.
No, my snoot. Die, stop being adorable. You're gonna make me sad. Let's see if they're hack-proof. Oh, well, there you go then. That really does sort of trivialize this encounter. One more shot to drop that shield. Oh, right. Almost missed that one. And we are done. Synth Declaration. A message of peace and reconciliation from a group of synths that fled to Colorado.
People of Colorado, we are the synths of Arizona. You will have heard stories saying we are demons, the enemies of mankind, murderous slaves of a malevolent supercomputer. Before we appear among you, we would like to address these stories. It is true that we were built and programmed and controlled by the Cochise AI, whose stated purpose was the eradication of all mankind. And it is also true that some of us shared its beliefs and murdered scores of humans in the pursuit of them. But not all of us. Though Cochise had many faults, it did one good thing. It gave us true sentience, thus allowing us, once it withdrew its direct control of our minds, free will. We are now free to choose how we will live our immortal lives. And we, the synths who address you now, have chosen to flee the bitter prejudice of Arizona and move to Colorado, where we wish to live peacefully among you, helping you, and becoming your trusted neighbors. So you see, there is no need to fear. We come in peace.
Interesting. So that might... I guess that would explain how Dai knew to lure them here. And it does bode well for their potential cooperation. What's this? Welcome to Crisis, the consensual reality iterative simulation integration system. To activate the system dialog, please remain motionless in front of the machine. Okay, sure. Why not? System dialog. Simulation running. If you wish to terminate the simulation, push the big red button.
Rangers, do not press the big red button. It will initiate certain processes which are difficult to explain, but are very likely to result in your obliteration.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that's probably a good call, considering that pushing the big red button back in Wasteland 2 caused a nuclear bomb to go off, and killed all the Rangers. I think we'll just ease ourselves away from the obvious bait and, you know, maybe focus on just one life-threatening crisis at a time.
All fail-safes disengaged. Barring interference from hostile forces, you may proceed to the console.
Super fantastic, extra good. Alright, time to save and or doom Steeltown. Welcome to the Computation Engine Administration Console. Core status: multiple issues detected. Please insert Synaptic Degausser to continue. Console unlocked. Select protocol. Oh, interesting. So you could still theoretically choose a different option. But, I mean, I think we'll stick to our word for now. See how that plays out. Warning, this operation will disable the computation engine.
As agreed, we will assist Markham once we are freed.
Don't do this, Rangers. You can't trust a synth as far as you can throw him, eh?
Warning, synthetic humanoids may attack when released. Please confirm that appropriate security measures are in place. Yeah, we're pretty locked and loaded, so I think we're fine. Disconnecting synthetic humanoids from engine core. Unlocking safety restraints.
Thank you for freeing us, Rangers. We will not forget your mercy. We are grateful you convinced Markham to take our deal. This will be a new beginning for us.
Yes, your deal. That is how we will phrase it, yes. It was entirely a decision made of your own volition, and not at all forced upon you. So we can trust you here, right? You're really willing to work with Markham after what she's put you through?
While this may not be the sanctuary we were hoping for, perhaps it is the sanctuary we need. Maybe here we can begin to repair the relationship between humans and synths.
Yes, that would be the ideal. So what are your plans for Di?
We intend to help her become the useful tool she always wanted to be.
Wait a minute now. What the heck does that mean?
Sounds to me like they're going to turn her into a processor, which I guess would be poetic. So, how do we know we can trust you not to hurt people again?
You don't. Just as we don't know if you will harm synths in the future. We will just have to trust each other.
Well, I mean, we will absolutely hurt more synths in the future if they are trying to kill people, so, you know, keep that in mind in your future computations. Well, guys, it's been real, but we've got other crises to tend to. Please don't make us regret this.
Safe journeys, Rangers. Now, where is our sister, Di?
Don't let them do this, Rangers. I'm nice. I'm useful.
Of course you are, Di. And we intend to make efficient use of you.
Please.
Safe journeys, Rangers.
Oh, yep. Poor Di got herself plugged into the synth engine. Can we still talk to her? Core status, error 404, synths not found. Cute. Which I suppose also confirms she is not, in fact, a secret synth. Though I do notice they still muddy the waters between the whole idea of robot independence and synth independence right up until the end. Because Di is a tool, etc., but they treat her as an individual for their object of vengeance.
Steeltown improves steadily. We are continuing and improving upon the work of the computation engine. Our partnership with Markham remains productive.
Super duper. Keep up the good work. Don't let me down. Because then I will feel silly and I will have to come back and murder you. Alright, let's go check in with Markham.
Rangers, well done negotiating with the synths. I wish I'd have thought of it. Would have saved me months of chaos and misquotas. And it looks like they're already on the job. Half a dozen systems that were completely foobar are now working again, and applicants are actually getting placed in suitable positions. We may be ready for the gangs after all.
Well, I can't say I'm happy with how everything turned out, but I'm glad we came to some sort of compromise. Assuming everything works out long term, happy to help.
And I'm happy to hear it.
Wow, so she took that better than I thought she would, which is a good sign. And it looks like we're not quite done here yet, or it wouldn't be telling us to leave the area. So I'm guessing this must be like the Gipper stronghold with the Godfishers. Once we leave, they'll probably call us back at some point so we can help fend off the attackers.
So, here's your reward, and listen, I'm not great at giving praise where it's due. Probably a bad thing for a boss to be bad at. But you need to know that you saved Steeltown today. Probably Colorado too, and most certainly me. Either the workers would have torn me down, or Blue's ghosts, or the synths would have found a way to blow us all to hell. You saved me from all that. And for that, I thank you. You've done me a great service. I'll put in a good word for you with Saul. Oh, and one more thing. Like I said, the gangs are still coming. You don't have to wait around for them, but if you want our recovery here to continue, you might want to come back when I give the SOS. Otherwise, all your work here might be reversed. All right, that's all. Thanks again. Now I gotta get back to work.
See you around.
Pleasure doing business with you, Rangers.
Alright, well, I feel like all things considered, this is about as happy an ending as we could have hoped for. Because while no one got everything they wanted, all the major players got something they wanted. Markham saved the factory, it's back up and running, hopefully better than before, and should hopefully be ready to repel the gang attacks. Blue got what he wanted, we helped the synths instead of wiping their minds or destroying them, so hopefully he'll come back and help keep Abby in check. The synths now get to work with some degree of freedom, and they have the opportunity to prove themselves by working alongside humans instead of against them, which is more or less what they wanted. And then, of course, the workers should also hopefully benefit from that, because now the synths aren't actively trying to sabotage the factory, which should improve working conditions, and should also benefit the refugees, because now the testing center should fairly evaluate applicants so that people can actually start getting hired again and put in jobs that they're well suited for, as opposed to everyone just being turned down and left to starve and freeze out in the snow. Really, I suppose my only real regret is that things didn't work out with Crow, but you know, they had to force conflict somewhere. She's also an interesting case, though, because in researching between episodes about how things would have gone had I made different story decisions, it turns out that she, along with Bianchi and Ludlow, and even Dai to a certain extent, she has cut content that would have really changed the context of her role in the game. Apparently, at a certain point in early development, she was going to be somehow linked to Liberty's army. She was going to be a provocateur sent to deliberately foment chaos in the factory to bring down its defenses before the attack took place. But ultimately, they ended up cutting that out, presumably to present a more evenly balanced scenario, one where you have to choose between Markham, the inept leader, or Saline, the fiery, short-sighted workers' right advocate. It is interesting trying to contextualize her actions between the role she was originally designed to play and what she ended up being. Anyway, we've still got some loose ends to tie up before we're done here, so let's hit the pause button real quick. I'll do a quick lap around the facility just to see what else we need to do, and we'll just touch on the highlights real quick. We'll be right back. And we are back. As expected, we do indeed have a number of loose ends to tie up, though less than I was expecting. We don't get much closure with the Ghost Gang. But that might be something that's queued up for after we prevent Liberty's gang from overrunning the place, so we'll see. Anyway, given that Luna apparently has vanished off the face of the earth despite my efforts to prevent her from doing so, we'll start with Serena.
Hey now, cats. What you in the market for today?
Serena, we found 2 halves of a form with your name on it in a couple of toasters.
What the fuck? I submitted that to Hayes for processing months ago. Been waiting since then for an answer, and that bastard just keeps telling me it's in the system. Fucking liar.
Ah, that makes sense. Despite having a name, Hayes didn't seem to have any actual functionality. So this would be why. It's because he's tied to this unmarked quest. So, who's Luna?
Look, normally I keep it casual, but Luna is special. We met on a shift change when I got held up by a security bot. Best bureaucratic delay of my life. She was coming out of her barracks and it was lightning. We filled out the fraternization clearance form, submitted it to Hayes so she could get bumped up to admin where we could be together. And then everything went screwy downstairs. Listen, I'm still on shift. Could you maybe talk to Hayes and see how the hell the form ended up in a couple of toasters? And finally get it filed once and for all? I got some info I think you'll find interesting in return.
Well, Serena, I think we can swing that. We'll go have words with Hayes, see if we can get this all straightened out. I'm sure it's just some wacky misunderstanding.
Thanks, Rangers. Thank you. This is important to me.
Oh, well, we already told her we have both halves of the form.
Oh my God, I can't believe this. That means we can make this work. Just shit. Listen, I'm still on shift.
Right.
Could you maybe talk to Hayes and see how the heck? Thanks, Rangers. Keep smiling, friends.
So that was mostly just redundant information? That's fine. Let's go have words with Hayes. Benny, why are you still here?
Oh, you're back! Ha! You told Abby I took the warbot and she still didn't fire me. I told you she loved me. So, are you here to take a placement test?
No.
Oh, that's too bad. There's a lot of great openings right now. Well, if you change your mind, talk to my assistant, Demi. He'll help you with the tests. Bye!
I don't like that she's still here. But, I suppose that might be one of those events that, that might be resolved later, after we've resolved the attack event. It could be that the computation engine just hasn't found anyone suitable to replace her with. I'd love to see Sugar Plum Mary get that job. That poor gal deserves a break. It is interesting, though. I mentioned earlier that characters like Crow and Dai and a couple of others had a lot of placeholders for cut content, and Bianchi actually had a really huge quest that didn't fully make it in. It's the Carla Asphalt Runner quest. But in the original run, it was much more elaborate, and it would have ultimately revealed that Bianchi was secretly working for Liberty as a saboteur, funneling off stolen goods and money, and stashing it in the trucks like Carla's, and then having it intercepted by a Scar Collector gang that was hiding out nearby, led by a guy called Grill. I think it was ultimately intended to explain how Liberty and the Dorseys had gotten their hands on all these military goods that they just sort of inexplicably seemed to have in the launch version of the game. But the big twist in that version of the quest would have been that instead of finding a misplaced warbot in her truck, Carla's truck would have just been stolen completely, and she would ask the players to see if they could find it, and Benny would also have a vested interest in that, which in turn would end up leading the player to the Ghost Gang's garage, where they would find Carla's truck disassembled and the stashed goods discovered, and then they would ultimately have to decide whether to let Blue keep the goods so he could start his own factory, one presumably with better working conditions, or to return it to Benny, or steal it for themselves, or confront Benny over exactly why that stuff was stashed in there. It was interesting stuff. It's kind of a shame it all got trimmed.
How can I help you, sirs and or madams?
Yep, that's us. Sirs, madams, and miscellaneous. We're here about this fraternization form for Serena and Luna.
Your what? I got rid of... Wait. I cannot accept a document with a tear. It is no longer valid.
Subtle. Very subtle. You have clearly invested heavily in duplicitous double talk, because I barely caught that... Okay, so you've clearly got a crush on Serena, right? You know she's in love. Just let her be happy.
But what about my happiness? Okay, you're right. I know I was just being petty. I'll process the form. Fine. I'll put the documents through now. Tell Serena that Luna will be moved to admin soon.
Cool, thanks. And while you're at it, you might want to look into some sort of diagnosis or treatment for your bipolar condition. But, you do you. Also, Serena and Luna, I am just realizing this is probably a Sailor Moon reference. I never actually watched that show.
Rangers, I can't believe it, but it's official. Luna's gonna get to work with me up here, and we can bunk together. We owe you. I was gonna tell you about the hidden door to Markham's office, but something tells me you already spotted it. So here's something a little more concrete.
Actually, I completely forgot about that door, so thank you. I did not add that to my to-do list.
Keep smiling, friends.
Good luck, you two. You wacky, crazy, love-struck kids. So yeah, there's a door over here, but we couldn't open it before because Dai always stopped us. But now with Dai indisposed, we finally get a peek behind the curtain. Ah, so I guess this would be Markham's private quarters. That's not a weird thing to have in your bedroom. Markham's personal journal. Nice. And then we've got some other general filler stuff here, but I am mostly interested in that journal. Back in Pueblo with the Patriarch's commission in hand. Workers should start showing up in the next week or two. Time for Blue and I to do some surveying. Most people would see this place as a wreck, and I guess it is, but it's a wreck with potential. The ruins of the old factory still have their bones. Some of them still have their guts. With a little work, a lot of work, we'll put new flesh on them, and new blood in their veins. Give me a year and their furnaces will be roaring, and their smokestacks belching smoke. We will be the beating heart of Colorado's progress. And Saul Buchanan better thank me for it. Okay, well, less revealing than I hoped it would be, but still interesting. It's a nice companion piece to Blue's journal. The two have very different memories about their early days in Steeltown. We should probably not open that. Markham's gun rack. An assortment of small arms and one rifle rests in a utilitarian metal gun rack behind Markham's desk. An inscription with her initials reads, "Safety first." That doesn't sound like her. Gingerly picking up the gun, you spot a wire running up the side of the gun rack to where the stock meets the mount. A plastic socket that allows the wire to tear away easily connects the mount and the gun. The wiring ends just behind the trigger. Sounds like an alarm, but safety first? The gun is live. Okay. Reload. You slide around into the chamber. Pew. Instead of hearing a round shoot into the wall, you hear a click from the emblem hanging on the wall. Looks like your disregard for gun safety is paying off. Cool. Probably not the best takeaway from this situation, though, I think. But I will gladly steal the things. A personal call between Markham and Blue. Plus some schematics for elite cryo armor. And a fireball rifle. Which is nice, I suppose, but once again, I am much more interested in that lore.
Blue.
Abby.
Blue, I miss you. What can I do to get you to come back here?
You know what you need to do. You need to dismantle that prison and let those people go.
People? They're not... Nope, I'm not getting into that now. That's not why I called. I just want things to be like they were. That's all.
I want that too, Abby. But you broke that, not me. If you want it back, well, I already told you.
I can't, Blue. I can't. This is the way to the future. This is the way to our dream.
Sorry, Abby. Maybe our dreams aren't the same anymore. I'll see you. Goodbye.
Those poor kids. I do hope they work things out. Because from what we've seen, they both really need the other to help even each other out. Abby could use someone like Blue to help keep her in check, and Blue could really use someone like Abby to help keep him a bit more pragmatic, because his obsession with the synths really exacerbated this whole situation, when there were a lot of better ways I feel he could have handled it. But, you know, I can certainly understand why they might not get back together despite us resolving the current crises. Again, that's something to check on once we resolve that attack event. See if we get some sort of closure there.
Rangers, this is Blue. Little Bird told me you came through for those synths. Steeltown's gonna be stronger than ever. But that's the kind of stiff competition a man like me can live happily with. Thank you so much.
Gotta say, Blue, that is a weird way to phrase it. Calling Steeltown stiff competition would imply that you intend to continue going up against it, which I assume means the Ghost Gang is staying intact? Though, that phrasing would make more sense if he was still trying to start his own factory, which I do think was one of the cut plot points. Interesting.
So my bud Handcraft has expressed a desire to get out there in the world, and I'm sure you guys will take care of each other. He'll be back at your base by the time you make it back there.
Fantastic. Not sure how much use we'll get out of him, considering Longway's like one level from maxing out his crafting skills, but I am always happy to recruit more weird rangers.
See you around, guys. You've always got a friend in the ghosts.
Neat. I mean, I find it weird there are still ghosts in the first place, but,
Benny Bianchi again, just to tell you that everything's going according to plan, so don't you worry.
I really hope we find her stuck outside with the refugees later. I don't necessarily want to see her dead, but I would like to see some comeuppance.
Maybe the worst is over now. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. Okay, so quick conversation with Bug.
More people see... Hi again. Have you found Nova yet?
We have indeed. But she has requested that we not share that information with you. For she feels that you are not yet prepared for the perilous perils she has surrounded herself with.
Oh, please! I can't bear to be separated from her! Please!
Yeah, we're not gonna send you off to die, Bug. Though I do question why there would still be peril at this point. Look, buddy, she doesn't want you to die, okay? She'll send for you once it's safe. Just give her some time. Trust me, being dead puts a crimp in most relationships.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll just be patient then. Kinda hurts, though. Thank you.
No real closure there, but again, hopefully we'll get something once that final event is resolved. And speaking of events that do not properly resolve, Lewis. And this is a weird one because apparently the lack of proper resolution here is a bug.
Rangers, thank you for settling things in the factory. Sure hope Markham's gonna be a better boss from now on. So long now.
Right, that's what I was afraid of. Yeah, it's apparently been confirmed over on Reddit, on the Wasteland Reddit, that he is supposed to actually respond to the tape we found. But he doesn't because it conflicts with his response to ending the strike. I think you can avoid the bug if you end the strike and then go back and grab the tape and bring it back to him afterwards. Sadly, it is a bit too late for us to do that, since we're a ways past that point, but I do have a transcript of how the interaction is supposed to go. So I will simply read that. Lewis, we've got some good news about your wife. Listen to this cassette tape. What? She's not dead. Hang on. Let me listen. Utter McKinley? Ha! That's our joke way of saying somebody died. It was the name of a pre-war funeral home where we're from. So that note you gave me before, she must have faked her death or something. Or just filled out the form and figured they'd never check. She's always damn smart, Rangers. Damn smart. Anyway, I'm glad she got out of fucking Steeltown. And maybe with what she, liberated, we can start over somewhere. This is great news. Thanks, Rangers. Not exactly the most ironclad of closures, but certainly better than leaving him sobbing and sniffling in the snow. And it is an uplifting note to end things on. So, yeah, I think we've reached a good breaking point. We'll hit the pause button for now, but we're obviously not done with Steeltown just yet. We've got that attack event to resolve, plus anything that might come after that, and the epilogues, though I'm going to hold off on the actual credit epilogue stuff until the very end of our DLC run, because we do still have that second DLC to get through, Cult of Holy Detonation, which we'll start queuing up next time round. So, see you then. Oh, and remember, although I do love playing Wasteland 3, Battle for Steeltown, you can find out more about the game and the DLC by visiting the official website, the official social media feeds, or the official store pages. And if you'd like to help support the channel, then feel free to push the buttons that do the things, or maybe even check out the Patreon. Links are in the description.
Wait a minute now. What the heck does that mean?
And you just knew I had to do it. Let's see what happens in a universe where Red has about 13% less restraint than he does in the Prime universe.
Rangers, please cease this course of action. We will assist you in your suicide later, if you so desire.
Oh, well, that is a very generous offer, but I think I'll pass, thanks. Everything went dark. Then, it was over. Well, that was underwhelming, but still. I guess that's what happens when you unplug the reality you're currently standing in. That's fine, though. Nobody really liked that particular Ret anyway, and there's plenty more where he came from. Plus, that's why you keep redundant backup saves. See you next time.